It's great to have a lot of channels, sure. But if the channels don't work and they look sitting there looking like they having a real bad problem with the blinking lights, then it's not really doing me any good, then is it? No offense to anybody who has those problems. First of all, I just got to say I'm happy at the fact that it no longer looks like a potato. It no longer looks like a potato in here. And I thank you, all of y'all who were rocking with me as long as you have been, while it was looking like I was reporting from inside of a potato. Tonight, if a beautiful man calls you a female dog and everyone is around to hear it, do the other female dogs make a sound? Hello? Protective Services? Report somebody. No. I'm calling to make a hair appointment. Hello? Hello? And finally, Drumpf is in good company. And it's really good company, folks. I'm telling you, folks, it's the best company you've ever seen. You've never seen company like this before, folks. I'm telling you, it's the best company, folks. It's the best. See what we're talking about in this week's episode. Welcome to the BS. Let's go. Notice anything different, guys? What is good? What is good? Ladies and gentlemen, I am Seven Blackman, and this is The Black Man Show. And the spelling is easy. Black like me, man like me. And please, once again, accept no substitutions. Only get the real right here on this show. A place where we can take a look at the news with a little bit of 7 cents. So with that, hit the like and subscribe buttons and be sure to share this with your mama of choice, birth, baby, or grand as we dig in. Let's go. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you are a young man between the ages of 16 and 32, you probably know the subject of this next story. Dreamy-eyed white guy with a slight modicum of muscle tone, chiseled jawline, curly hair with whom white women just fell in love, placing on him their ideals of who they thought he was without realizing who he actually is or was, I guess, or what he's actually saying that is. And that guy is Matt Rife. No, not that guy. That's the guy from Shameless. And no, not that guy. That's the guy from Gen V. I'm talking about the guy who resembles a cross between a red pill puppet and the Joker, but with worse jokes. You know, if you think about it, it kind of checks out. Though I will give him some credit. He does some pretty good crowd work. But anyway, besides the point, I am talking about Matt Rife. There we go. This guy. Okay. The comedian and helmet enthusiast has really set the internet ablaze with his latest Netflix comedy special, Natural Selection.
I figure we start the show with domestic violence. The rest of the show should be...
Now, this funny act hits the ground running with bad jokes about domestic violence, which absolutely upset his very female-based audience. But if you know anything about his comedy, you'll know that in his previous special, called OnlyFans, he basically was doing the same shit. I mean, he started off both of them saying something like, I think he started OnlyFans one saying something along the lines of saying like, who can I offend or how am I going to offend people, just trying to test the crowd. I mean, he basically did the same testing of the crowd, I guess you could say, with the first thing that he came out with in both of them. So if you know the man, you know that that's what he does. But if you're somebody who's only looking into his dreamy eyes, then you don't give a damn what the hell he got to say. You just like, shut up and look at me. Shut up and keep looking at me. Like, people don't understand his comedy, or maybe in the age of Rage Against Everything, I don't know. Everyone won't be perfect out the box. So they'll mess up, and they will need room to grow. And I mean, the fact is that he's a mid-20s young white man looking to make a name for himself at a time when the negative is emphasized, publicized, and monetized before the positive can even get out of bed and see the light of day. So, I mean, Can we give him a little bit of break and cut him a little bit of slack? I get it. You feel like everybody's supposed to be perfect, just like you, right? I mean, but let's be honest. He's not doing anything different, not unlike any other famous 20-something known for upsetting everybody around him, for saying whatever came to mind that he knew would offend people during his time. And the one before him. Oh, and the one before that. Because the truth is, this man has been telling unfunny, cringe-worthy jokes since his time on Wild 'N Out in a very young man attempt to get emaciated actress Zendaya to laugh, I don't know, spit water at him, get him to get her to get him wet, give him her number, whatever he was trying to do. Ain't this the sort of activity that you would expect from a young man with a little bit of fame, not much game, and meeting somebody with a above subjectively average looking status? Don't get me started on Zendaya. She all right. Just move on. Just move on. But simply put, can the man make a mistake? Is he allowed to be unfunny in peace, or must he align with whatever we conjure in our pretty little heads because somebody looks good? And then are we supposed to hold them accountable when they don't live up to the expectations that we set for them that they didn't even know about? That's to say, can we actually trust our lying eyes, or do we go with whatever looks good? I mean, it's pretty safe to say our eyes aren't always the best judge of character.
Who do you find more attractive?
This guy right here.
The one on the right?
Yeah.
Okay. Who would you trust?
Guy on the right.
So you trust the guy on the right?
Yeah.
Who would you?
After murdering them?
His name is Raj Chetty, and he's a really famous actor in India.
Okay.
And now the guy on the right is Richard Ramirez. You ever heard of him?
No, I don't know anyone.
He killed a lot of women.
Oh gosh, okay.
Yeah. The man on the left is actually an Indian actor. His name is Raj Chetty, famous Indian actor. And the guy on the right is Richard Ramirez. Ever heard of him?
No.
He's a killer, and he murdered a lot of women.
Okay.
I just find it odd that we place so much emphasis on someone's looks when the distance of our outrage only travels as far as the pleasantness of their presence. Now, quick story. Quick story. I always got a nice story. Well, I won't say always, but all right. So, quick story. My varsity year of playing football, I can't remember if it was my sophomore or junior year, but I remember I was with one of my brothers, and he and I were on our way to practice, and I'm not sure if we were late, if we were staying at someone's house or something like that. I can't remember how it happened, but either way, my aunt ended up being the one who was taking us to practice that day, right? And we were like, oh, auntie, yeah, just go ahead and take us to practice. Oh, I think we were running late, and so it was like, oh, he gonna give us some crap and all that. And she was auntie was ready. She was about it. Auntie Shirley did not play. Auntie was like, oh, he say something. If he got something to say, I'm gonna let him know. I'm gonna let him know what's what and who's what. She was ready. Auntie Shirley wasn't playing them games. And then we got to the school. We got up to the school. We getting out the car. We're getting our equipment out. And then she was like, where's your coach at? And I'm like, there you go right there. And Auntie Shirley was like, he's cute. Do you understand? That ruined whatever sort of ammo we thought we had. And going to fight and having a final stand against our coach. Do you understand how futile that was going to be at that point? Completely disarmed by this man's looks. I mean, he was all right looking. I don't know. Whatever. He was all right. But still, Auntie Shirley, I love you still. Moving on. So do we suffer pretty privilege for true equity? The hell kind of ugly world would that be? So I talked about this a little bit last week with regard to P. Diddy and the accusations that were levied against him from Cassie and, you know, the whole thing that was going on. And today I kind of wanted to go into why that was taking place. Basically, this is a thing called the New York Adult Survivors Act. So these are the adult survivors of SA who are seeking some sort of financial retribution after the statute of limitations has already ran out for seeking punitive damages or seeking punitive penalties. So the thing was introduced over a year ago, about in May, and around Thanksgiving of last year, that's about when it finally went into action. And basically, like I said, it's an act to seek financial retribution for SA. So this is what I would like to call one of those permission versus apology type acts, if you will. So, I mean, just think about it.
The quotes that I've lived by for the past decade is, don't ask for permission, ask for forgiveness later.
Sure, you know, you can ask if you could take that ass, but, you know, they may very well say no. And, you know, you can't have that. And you take whatever you want. And only if they're able to prove in a court of law, after all the psychological, emotional, even financial damage that was caused, you know, after all of that stuff, that the offender actually did it, then money. But seriously, will money like fix the issue? I mean, like, for me, I just wonder, like, why are we working so hard to create a toothpaste out of the tube legislation instead of doing a better job of keeping that shit inside before it can even come out? You know what I'm saying? Better stay there. Are we doing enough to prevent weirdos with power from doing weirdo with power shit? Or do we just kowtow to power in hopes that maybe we'll just get a little bit of it, you know, just a little bit, you know, but also at the same time, keeping that corrupt stuff in the back of our minds, promising to never do something like that if we ever get power. Is that the goal? Is that what we're doing? Now, look, of the people accused, so far we've seen P. Diddy, Axl Rose, Mike Tyson, Donald J. Trump, Harvey Weinstein, Jamie Foxx, Marcellus Wiley, as well as 479 charges against Rikers Island alone. Now, of the caveats with the bill was that there was only 1 year window to file. So, I mean, just think about it. Hey, you person who's been dealing with your traumas on your own, now you can seek retribution. Just clean yourself up, get out of that shelter, and hire a lawyer. What are you waiting on? In other words, many victims could have potentially found out about the legislation too late to act. But in addition to celebrities we know of, it's also hit nobodies, like, urologists taking things a little bit too far when tickling your tickle, gynecologists with a questionable bedside manner, and outright pedophiles only getting retribution as their victims become adults. Now, personally, I'd say an act of this magnitude is some common sense legislation that needs more teeth. In addition to making changes to this act, I'd make some real changes to America if only I were judge. Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Seven Blackman is presiding, and please rise and sit your punk ass down. Let's get to it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I know that I am not a real legal judge because when my gavel hits, it's official. And the first law that I would change would be paternity tests at birth. Yes, absolutely. Gentlemen, you can finally rest assured knowing that finally you don't have to worry about if that baby ain't yours and not being put on child support. Reverse side of that, though, all of you who are found to be the father that day will be put on child support that day. Reverse charges on anybody accusing somebody else of SA. I think that's kind of self-explanatory. How many athletes have we already seen? Athletes, entertainers, politicians. I mean, now some rightfully so, because they may have done some weird power shit that I was talking about before. But then there are others who absolutely have done nothing and are being falsely accused, and their lives are now ruined as a result of that. So for those people whose lives are ruined, for those people who did the life ruining, you get what they were going to get. See, now it's all fair. In my courts, there will be no such thing as mandatory alimony. Now, all cases should be litigated by both parties who will have to establish and procure their own legal representation at their own expense. Ain't none of this, you need to pay for mine and you need to, no. None of that. If you want this alimony, you're going to have to work for it. You ain't working for shit else. Parents will only have a 3-year window to establish paternity. After that, the baby is all yours. I mean, ain't no need of waiting until later on in the kid's teens to find out you ain't shit. Just let them know soon as that memory starts memorying. I propose that we have actual anti-racism laws for black people. Or, wait, okay, I get it. Well, I get it. I get it to my Asian brothers and sisters out there. I understand. I absolutely get it because, you have an anti-racism law that's benefiting you guys, and we don't have anything here, even though we've been here long. And we don't need to get into all that. But so I get it. I hear you guys. So I'll just say on the flip side of that, if we have no affirmative action on the grounds of we can't have any group being individually benefited, then we can't have any anti-racism laws because, again, we can't have any groups being individually represented. We can't have you guys getting any individual benefits off the government's dime on willy-nilly. We can't have that now, can we? That would be preferential treatment. And that's right. Even though the main recipients and beneficiaries of affirmative action across the entire life of its existence have been white women. But regardless of that, no protections for them, no protections for us, no protections for you, and at the same time, no affirmative action. See, we all win, right? No politicians are allowed to hold office without passing a basic minimum skills civics test. This won't be like as egregious as a test that this nation's used in its founding to keep black people from voting. No. Well, you know what? Actually, that wouldn't be a bad idea. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and have you guys take a couple of these tests, and we'll just see how you guys do with it. Huh? Coincidentally, a few well-versed lawyers, judges, and politicians took one of these tests, and only 30% passed. Right? Only 30%. That today. I think it was 2022 when it took place, but still, this century. Now, I can only hope that we can have that sort of effectiveness from our actual government officials. 30%, pipe dream. Now, here's a bonus. If you are actually able to pass the test, then you are immediately given a college degree, pension, tenure at the university of your choice, and look, the nation is stupid. We need people to educate us. We need way more educators than we need leaders right now. We're just dumb. We're just a dumb nation. And to that end, no more televised debates. Too many times we fall for the flashy guy in the suit over the other guy in the suit, all because the cut of his jib is a little bit more pleasing to the eye than his is. Look, we know what happened when a freshly drugged up Kennedy, brought to you by Estee Lauder, was more pleasing to the eye than an old, wrinkled Nixon au naturel. Audibly, many believe Nixon actually won, but who would want to vote for that face? Keeping it moving. Now, anyone caught doing the speed limit or even less than that while having lane, space, and opportunity to move over, but instead is staying in the left lane because you think it's safer, you, sir, madam, AI, whatever you are, you will be sentenced to death. Pure and simple, death. And lastly, no Pontiacs within 1,000 feet of a school zone or on any major highways. Look, I mean, if you've been watching me long enough, you know I was going to do it. Quit playing. This has been Judge Blackman, and court is adjourned. I'll see you in court. Now, that little segment was brought to you by the good people who brought you master's degrees. That's right, master's degrees. Do you lack a job and money, but need validation of something that will get you neither? Ladies and gentlemen, my friends, go ahead and get yourself an MBA today. Loan officers are standing by to place you into eternal middle-class debt. Keeping it moving. But it's also equally targeted major institutions as well, like prisons and hospitals. What should the path to justice look like, and should there be any sort of statute of limitations on how long the victims can file? I'd love to know in the comments below. Get to it. Speaking of New York's Adult Survivors Act, here in the Midwest, although there are protections like the Bill of Rights for SA survivors, Justice for Survivors Act, and Kansas's Protection from Stalking, SA, and Human Trafficking Order, or PSAT. Nothing here quite has that financial bite that the New York Act has. Maybe that's why people like family pediatric neurologist and man whose actual head should be used as gun range practice, Brian Albers, felt so emboldened. Now, the Overland Park, Kansas neurologist is currently being accused of using hidden cameras in offices and facilities and producing child porn. However, these charges are in the state of Missouri. Now, I've told y'all time and time again, here in the state of, I see, I almost got messed up myself. But here in the state of Missouri, it's a lot of people will burn you at the stake if you try to get Kansas conflated with Missouri, and vice versa, and rightfully so. There are quite a few differences that I will not get into here because I like living here. You dig? I believe the man who lives in Missouri while practicing in Kansas is currently facing federal charges. Now, the FBI are looking for any additional information that you have due to his profession and his immediate contact with children. However, I haven't seen anything that actually states that if it is because of his profession that he was in contact with the children, if that makes sense. I mean, because, you know, it's possible to be a youth pastor, but and be somebody who touches children, but not touch the children who are at your church. You know, maybe do it somewhere else. However that goes. A reporting party with obvious knowledge of the situation has come forward. However, information is very sparse at the moment. Now, what we do know is that child porn was found in his possession. Basically, they have videos of nude minors. There's also information that he tried to have the videos and electronics destroyed through the reporting party, I believe, or possibly. I'm guessing that's how the information came to light, because of the reporting party. So potentially he said, hey, reporting party, can you help me out? Get rid of this. And reporting party said, no. I'm speculating here. Reporting party didn't say no, but reporting party just, instead of destroying it, took it to the authorities. Maybe that's what happened. But either way, there's a report that he at some point told this reporting party that there was some, quote, bad stuff on the electronic devices. So there's also reports that over 20,000 pieces of child porn material was found between his two laptops and a cell phone. There's also reports that he told the reporting party that, quote, I am going to jail, or, quote, lose my job. I don't want to die, and, quote, I don't want my kids to see me dead, end quote. Now, as far as that last part, I don't know. Now I got to be a smart ass. I mean, most children, if you live right, see their parents die. That's kind of how it works. It's the circle of life. It's kind of how that goes. But moving on, like I said, it's still an open case, so the FBI is hoping that you will help them to fill in the blanks. If you have any information on the doctor and don't want to be considered a snitch, they do have anonymous tip lines and all that for just such an occasion. So just reach out to your local FBI office and please give them information. Now, even though this arrest took place over 2 weeks ago, it's still uncertain in what capacity this guy was in contact with the children. Like I said, like he worked in Overland Park, Kansas, but he was being charged in Missouri, where he allegedly lives. So I don't know. So I can only imagine, or I can only wonder how it is that he got, how the charges come down, because again, everything is still up in the air. So, but with that, what sort of protections do you think should be in place to protect the babies from the crazies? Should it be something like the ASA, the Adult Survivors Act in New York that recently expired? And if so, what sort of limitations would you like to see on it, so that way it doesn't expire after only a year like New York's did? Okay, I'll play this video for you and I'll be right back. Sorry, y'all. I didn't want to have to deal with any copyright infringement on this, especially after everything that happened last week with the banned video and all that. But you can see what's going on and the way that this poor child looks to be traumatized after everything that's going on, and all she had to do to get her hair, quote unquote, did. What are we doing? Why? We got this little mama here. I don't know what the age could be. No older than, I'll say 6, 7. Probably no older than 6 or 7. Sitting here with her own natural tresses, and this magnificent young lady behind her doesn't mean her any harm, I'm sure. And she is placing a wig. Basically, she's putting a shower cap on this child's head, a fuzzy shower cap on this child's head. I think that's what that would be the equivalent of a fuzzy shower. I don't know if she can swim with it, but that's what she put on it. What are we doing? What are we doing? I've heard these when I was growing up. I used to hear sisters saying stuff like, this is a protective style. This is, I wear my hair like this because it's easier. It's
a conversation I don't think we're ready to have. Protective styles are a scam. And you can say, well, I'm protecting my hair from heat damage, or I have to style my hair to do this and do that, so I'm protecting it. But your hair was designed to protect your head. Like, what are you protecting it from, really, when you think about it? And before I started using protective styles, I had a 5 head, but now it's a 9.5. And this ponytail started off with baby hair, but I was like, you know what? It's unnecessary. I need a bang. So I just brushed it back and I'm rocking it. I'm rocking my forehead, but I will tell you this. You putting them wigs on your head, plastering those wigs on your head, your forehead is slowly making its way downtown to the middle of your head. You're getting ready. You're going to have clown head. Okay? And you know who I feel sorry for? The young girls, 15 and 16 years old, who wearing the full lace front wigs. Baby, your hairline is done. Your hairline is done. Y'all are going to be clown heads. Y'all are going to be clown heads. Prepare your heart. Prepare your heart. Because there's really no reversing it. We are ripping our hair. We are ripping our hair follicles out. Okay? Before you get mad at me, take that wig out.
And I don't know. I mean, it's just, it really throws me off sometimes to think that not only are sisters doing this to themselves, but now they want to make sure that they add into the commiseration by bringing the little ones along as well. So it's like, not only do I dislike my hair, let's all dislike our hair together, which is really crazy. Like, what happened to the 4C, 4B, and all that natural hair kinky curly movement. What happened to them ladies? The I mean, the ratchet baby hairs are just winning out. Sexy Reds and them is just like, man, Sukianas and all them and Glorillas is just, they just doing it too hard. You like, man, they getting on. They getting way too much pub. I need to get a little bit of that light. I need a little bit of that shine. Is that what it is? I don't know. I mean, I used to always say to my people, like when I talk in my circles with my people, who else would be in your circle but your people? Anyway, but when I'm in my circles talking with my people, I've said things like, you know, men are the builders of societies, and women are the social glue. This is not the glue I was talking about. No, that ain't it. That ain't it. So we got some comments that were associated with this thing. I'll kind of go through a couple of them. Why don't these people do better? It's so sad. I would never do this to a child. We were at Sky Zone this weekend, and I saw some little boys with weave in their hair. Little boys with weave in their hair. Not always a bad thing, but it's just becoming more prevalent, and it's just, I don't know. I just keep wondering which direction I would go in. Is it Matrix or Hunger Games? Because with the makeup and all that, that's Hunger Games all day. I mean, everybody putting on I'm just saying that's basically where it's going. All right, next one. Lazy ass parents don't want to put in the love or time to do the baby's hair. I swear, as the world goes on, it's turning into an undesirable place to want to be a part of. The world is getting pretty dumb and lazy. We're just dumb. We're just a dumb nation. And I don't know. I agree. It's not the baby's fault. Just like I've said in last week's show, just like I said in the show the week before that, and just like I'll say in just about any show that has a subject matter that has anything to do with these children, what path do you think this child is on when this is what you're doing to them at this age? I'm not, I shout out to Kevin Samuels. But shout out to Kevin Samuels. But like, he would talk a lot about outcomes. Like, what is the outcome that you think that you're going to achieve when this is the input that or this is the path that you're on today? What is that? I'm not saying that people can't change. I'm not saying people can't go a different direction. But what is the outcome that you think if they feel that they're on the right, if they feel they're on the right path, because apparently they think they're on the right path, right? They feel like that's why they're doing it, because they feel like they're on the right path. So why would they change? So if they're on the right path, well, how long do you think they'll go before they realize maybe this ain't it? I'm just saying. So I'm just saying, but at the same time, I'm not blaming it, so I won't blame the child, but I'm looking kind of skeptically at the adults in the room, at the people who are raising this child. This is your child. This is what's happening under your watch. What are you doing? What are you doing? Seriously. So, of course, I had, the young lady's face covered up because I'm not going to show that, right? I mean, surely I can't show this shorty shame and shit, but surely shows a shirking of official shepherding and showing this sister how to shine to instead shed her short hairs for this viral shit shag show. You like that? I mean, look, sure, I sound old, but this looks like shit. And I can shut up a whole lot faster than y'all can doing this shit to your kids. So fix it, and you won't have to hear from me at all, at least on this subject. Moving on. With digital banking on the rise, it's no wonder that more banks are being closed than are opened, according to the FDIC. Since 2003, almost 3,700 banks have closed, with almost 30% of those closures taking place between 2016 and this summer, with more scheduled for closure next year. But is this such a bad thing? I mean, is this really that bad? I mean, what about 27% of Americans solely banking online and another 60% being somewhat or very interested in using an online bank in the coming years? It seems like we're moving ever closer down the jagged path on the way to the agenda where we own nothing, are happy, or else, and retirement is only a word, in words only, and death will be but a happy respite. Now, the main culprits include JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, and Citizens Bank. So now you know where to aim your angst and your pitchforks. Get the tiki torches. Let's go. But seriously, one thing that kind of concerns me is that I don't think they finished that earlier sentence talking about, the somewhat and the very, because look, when polled, people answered to be somewhat or very happy with online banks, right? I think that's as long as there are brick and mortar banks around to run to, as long as they don't turn off the ATMs, and as long as I can easily access all my bank or my money, or speak to somebody in the event of an issue. As long as those three things are in place, then yeah, I'd be okay with an online bank or going to an online bank. I think, at least I think that would be the consensus of the people who are potentially entertaining the thought of moving to an online facility in the upcoming year. To me, these would make that sentence fit a whole lot better. Think about it. Although having fewer locations helps to keep expenses down, right? With most financial institutions, you as the individual banking customer would no longer have the ability to speak with someone face-to-face about the loan for your barbecue barbershop with no banks. You'd be relegated to phone or the online space to handle your credit issue, your missed mortgage payment, and the car payment that they still are pulling, even though it's been paid off since Thanksgiving of 2021. Now, is this actually better? Now, these banks will, again, speak about this being a cost-saving measure, which almost makes sense. But will they be shoring up any of their financial issues, tightening up loopholes, or finding some way to pass those savings on to the customer? I mean, to me, this is similar to the creation of the digital channel only, just for your TVs and all that, in lieu of having analog channels and all that stuff. I mean, there were these campaigns about how it would be better when you go to digital with all these extra channels. And now listen, I could have all the channels in the world. It's great. It's great to have a lot of channels, sure. But if the channels don't work and they sitting there looking like they having a real bad problem with the blinking lights, then it's not really doing me any good, then is it? Just saying. No offense to anybody who has those problems. With fewer locations, there will be less opportunities to run to the banks in the event of a massive inflation or a major market crash, kind of like the stock market crashes that we've already experienced. So all that was happening during the pandemic in Greece, basically that wouldn't be happening to us. Maybe. But with that, I'll ask you where you think the future of banking or the banking industry as a whole is headed. Like, do you think with the creation of a federal digital currency that will be just cogs continually working for the machine that feeds on our lifeblood to fuel its engine into the future? Will we be subject to a future where our access to spending, entertainment, and travel will be compared to our social scorecard like a very deathly accurate Black Mirror episode? please drop a comment in LMK, okay? So I wanted to take a second to see what else you all would like to see on the Black Men Show. I mean, we've got a couple ideas brewing already, and one segment already that's going up called Ask a Black Man, where I, a genuine, bona fide black man, answers your questions, responsive videos, and, you know, all that sort of good stuff like that, right? Just be sure to be on the lookout for it. We're trying to do a little bit more regularly, but as of right now, it's pretty sporadic. So as the questions come in and as the ones come in that make sense, 'cause I get a couple, but every now and then I've only put out one for a reason. So but with that, what else would you all like to see from the show? The show is really about you. I mean, because I can't be too successful at all without you. So, but I am looking to do more. So with that in mind, let me know what I can do, and I'm going to do that for you. Just make sure you hit me up at showtheblackman@gmail.com and put Ask a Black Man in the subject line. Or if for any other reason you want to hit me up, just say, how you doing, what's happening, how you doing, what's up, all that good stuff. Just go ahead and hit me up still at showtheblackman@gmail.com. And of course, you can hit me up on all the other socials at Show the Black Man. But with that, this has been the Black Man Show. What do you think of the new hoodies? I mean, what do you think? I think it's pretty nice, right? It's so soft. I didn't think it feels so good on my skin, my flesh. It's nice. I feel vigorous. It's nice. Anyway, sorry. This has been the Black Man Show, and I have been Seven Black Men, and I'll still be him tomorrow. Please be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and share this video with all your enemies and your loved ones as we continue to grow this thing out. Now, thank you all for watching this far. If you like this one, please get caught up on some of the previous episodes, and please know that I appreciate every last one of you. Until next time, please take care of each other. I've said please a lot, but it's because I mean it. Please. Peace.